Hi guys, welcome to Too Cool for Middle School. My name is Megan and I'm a middle school teacher here in Southern California. We've been back in school for about a week now and it feels pretty much like an entire school year. So I have a couple of tips for you about what has worked for me so far. Tip number 5 is to acknowledge the things that you're going to miss this year and try to think of a temporary alternative. If you really enjoy setting up your classroom, maybe experiment with a virtual classroom or set up a little corner of your house that you can teach from. For me, I'm really gonna miss the celebrations that we get to do in my class every year. So I'm trying to think of a temporary way to celebrate those things virtually. And this year, maybe we can involve families even more than we normally do. Tip number 4 is to remember who you are and do what you do best. One of the really hard things about quarantine is that we don't get to do those things that make us feel a little bit more human. So maybe at school you were a coach, or you did some kind of extracurricular activity that is on hold right now. I know for me personally, I haven't gotten to go to the gym or out to coffee with a friend in months, and you kind of start to lose your sense of who you really are. So just try to keep in mind those things that make you, you, and that you're really good at, whether you're teaching in the classroom, or you're teaching online, or you're doing a hybrid model, or maybe you're just helping your kids at home. So for me, I know that I really like to create slides and materials for my students that are kind of fun. So that's something that I enjoy doing for myself and something that I can do virtually, even though my students aren't physically in the classroom with me. So try to remember those things that you do really well and rely on the strengths of your coworkers as well. Tip number 3 is to get your students involved with some of this teaching. There is a lot of pressure on us right now as teachers. And for me, because I'm teaching virtually, I kind of feel like I have to fill all of our online time with just me talking to my students. But I have a feeling that's gonna get really boring for them. So what I'm gonna have my students do is sign up for different days when they will teach part of the lesson. So it's great for them because they get to practice their presentation skills, their speaking skills, their listening skills. So it ends up working out well for all of us. Plus, whenever your students have to do something that the teachers normally have to do, they realize how hard your job is and they respect you a lot more for it. Our students usually pick up on the technology and everything even faster than we do. So I have a feeling I'm gonna learn a lot of tips and tricks along the way from my students. Tip number 2 is so important. We need to take advantage of this time to teach about topics that are bigger than ourselves. As a nation, all of us have been learning about things that we never thought we would have to. Right now, our students are really curious about topics that pertain immediately to our lives. So they are definitely interested in learning about science and learning about infectious diseases. People have been exercising their right to protest about various issues, and we've had a chance to see how the media responds to that and how the government responds to that and how society at large responds. As an English teacher this year, I'm really focusing on the power of communication through video and through the written word because we can't have conversations with people face to face like we used to. So there's so much content that we can look at right now that immediately impacts our students and immediately impacts us. It's inherently going to be engaging because this is what everyone's talking about right now. This is what your students are going to be asking questions about right now. And these are the things that really matter. Model curiosity for your students, model compassion, and model the use of credible sources. Our students need to see how this is done, and they are going to be our future leaders and decision makers. So we want to make sure that they are well prepared to lead us in the future. Okay, the number 1 tip I have for you is very, very important. This is going to sound cheesy, but you need to practice self-care and you need to do something every day that brings you joy. You cannot start your day on your last nerve. I know what it's like to stay up all night trying to make sure that your lesson plans are perfect for the next day, and then you don't get enough sleep and you didn't do any of the things that you enjoy, you didn't get any downtime, but then If you wake up the next morning and there's a problem with your internet connection or a problem with one of your lessons, it's really hard to bounce back from that if you haven't done anything to take care of yourself. We know that just life in general is a little more stressful for everyone right now, and especially for our students. So if at all possible, we really want our classes and our classrooms to be a bright spot in our kids' days. So that's why it's really important that you take some time for yourself, because tomorrow will bring enough stress of its own, and you want to make sure that you're ready for whatever comes at you. So I hope these tips were helpful for you. I know that this year is going to be extra hard, but honestly, I have seen so many teachers doing amazing things, even in the midst of all these strange circumstances. You all are seriously miracle workers, and you've been making your classrooms, whether virtual or in person, so special for your students. And I'm so proud to be a part of this teaching community. If this video was helpful for you, feel free to share it with any other teachers that you know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below letting us know how you are staying optimistic this year. Thanks so much for watching this video. Have a great school year, and I'll see you next time. Bye.